So I decided to put my dirt bike in the bike show at the AMA Hall of Fame's bike night. Now, my bike is pretty beat up. The brake lever, the clutch lever, they're bent. The rear subframe is cockeyed because I wreck sometimes, and that actually happened when I broke my collarbone. It's got scratches on it, scuffed up. It's 2004, so it's not like it's a brand new show bike. But I'm Jesse Parsons. I decided to put that in the bike show. People were looking at it. I didn't see anybody looking at it that didn't have a smile on their face. And I was joking a little bit with some people. And there's one guy I was telling, you know, oh, I see they got their suits on. I better go get my suit on. He said, oh yeah, you better. And I said, I better go prepare my acceptance speech. He's like, oh yeah, if you plan on winning, you better. You know, we joked about it, had fun in that. And then there came a time where I was able to share a story of like the first year that I was with AMA, which was last year. I just renewed earlier this year for my second year. I got the dirt bike. It's a lot. I need to write a letter about it, and maybe I'll publish it. People can get the whole story, but it's my first dirt bike. I started racing for the first time. Arena cross, broke my collarbone. Started this YouTube channel, and you know, I went to the Hall of Fame's induction ceremony for Travis Pastrana, Grant Langston, and Ryan Dungey, and Rita Coombs as well, and a couple others. But I also got interviews with them. The man was familiar to me, and he kind of looked like he was judging the bikes. So I went over and was talking with him, and I was like, so what do I got to do to bribe you to make sure I win? You know, just having fun and just living it up. And then I started sharing my story, you know, first, and I concluded it as such. So in conclusion, it's a story of firsts, I guess. And when I signed up for the contest, the bike show, there was a thing at the bottom where it said comments. And so I wrote in there something like, there's a story that must be told, or something like that. And you know, then I shared with them my first and that, which I've always got stories to tell. But the man was like, that's a pretty good story. I'll keep that in mind. I'll consider that. I didn't know what he meant by that, but I was like, okay, you know. And so I ended up winning. I mean, I didn't win like best bike of the show or whatever, but I got a special merit award. And a lot of it was just due, I mean, all of it, I guess, was due to my story. And, you know, it's just a really good story. And I want to encourage you, if you are not a member of AMA, go join up. If you were a member in the past, you're like, I didn't get much out of it. Go join up, get involved. You know, do some of the stuff, use some of the discounts or whatever that you didn't before. If you've never been a member of AMA, and you never really considered it, consider it. I mean, it's a great place to be. It's, I'll tell you what, man, I went last night, and I was nothing but smiles. The entire time. I walked up and down this hill, back and forth to my truck. It's wearing me out. But I needed to do that for different reasons. One was I was going to put my bike in the competition, so I had to go unload it from the truck and ride it up there and stick it where it goes. And then I had to take it back, of course. And I rode through this little pit bike adventure trail, and man, that was hard. I was not even halfway up through first gear ever, and it was really hard because it was so stinking tight. It was just a left, right, and I had to duck for part of it. I'm on my 450, so it's just like, it's too much. Anyway, like I say, I was nothing but smiles. I got to joke with the staff the whole time. Everybody had a great attitude. It was a very, very positive place to be. And I encourage you, if you have never been part of the AMA or it's been a while, join up and go be part of it. I mean, motorcycling is what we do. And I tell you what, after all of that was done, I was watching a kid ride I guess it was a 250, and I was watching him ride around this little pit bike track. And there were some close calls because it looked like he didn't really have a lot of experience. So I called him over to me and I asked him about it. I said, you know, how long you been riding? You have a lot of experience? He said, not long, no, not really. And I said, I could kind of tell. I see you're sitting down a lot and you're hitting some of these jumps sitting down and it's trying to throw you off. I said, it'll do that sitting down. So I gave him some tips. I asked him, I said, if you want, I can give you some tips. I can, you know, come over here by my bike on the back of my truck. I'll try to show you some techniques for body position and, you know, help you out to have more control over your bike and to be a better rider. And he's like, oh yeah, sure. So that's what we did. And he was like, wow, you know, you gave me so much information and this is going to be a big help. And I encouraged him. I said, why don't you go ride some and I'll watch and critique you and, you know, for a little while before I leave and just try to help you get it ingrained. Because if you take this knowledge now and then you go home without going and riding and practicing it, you know, you're going to forget a lot of it. It's going to really slow your acquisition of the knowledge down. So anyway, that's what we did. And, you know, he was making progress pretty quick. And I told him I didn't want to give him too much because I know how it is. And he's like, oh no, I can process this. I'm good. I was like, okay. It wasn't too long. I kept calling him out, like, you know, get your knees a little straighter, bring your elbows up a little more, that kind of thing. And, you know, after a little while of riding, he came to me and he's like, oh. I was like, what is it? And he says, my shoulders are killing me. I said, well, that's good. You know, you're growing. Your body making adjustment or whatever. And it was just an awesome time. You know, I got to help that kid out some. And I got to win this award for my bike and for my story. And it was an awesome experience. Go be part of AMA, American Motorcyclist Association. You know, they got discounts, all kinds of stuff. So go check them out. So to add to that, that was my very first bike night ever. That was the very first time that I entered any motorcycle into a bike show contest. And that was my very first time ever winning an award like that for something like that. So in conclusion, I got some more firsts. And that sun is really bright. Hey, have a good day.